What's up, peeps? Today I'm going to be talking about how to improve your aim and accuracy on controller for Warzone. Now let's jump right into this puppy. For tip number one, we got a very important one that often gets overlooked. You got to identify your playstyle, right? There are different kinds of playstyle in this game. Like you can be an aggressive player, you can be a sniper, you can be a support. So that's why when people research other YouTubers on like what's their sensitivity settings, how do they play, it's kind of different, right? Because if that YouTuber plays aggressive and he's always pushing, but you play laid back and a little bit more passive, then his settings aren't going to apply to you. So let's say you want to choose the first one. Let's say you are a sniper player. Then I'd suggest that your ADS sensitivity multiplier, the high zoom, I suggest it be higher than your lower zoom. Why? Because you're going to be doing a lot more full licks and sniping people. And honestly, this is the way that I got used to, and I think I'm pretty good at sniping. And honestly, the high zoom definitely helped me out a lot. Now let's say you want to play a little bit more laid back, right? You're the guy that beams people from far away. You're not really in that many pushing situations. Then I suggest for both your low zoom and high zoom to be exactly the same, and your horizontal, stick, and vertical sensitivity to lower it down. Maybe like around between 4 and 7. Again, if you want the best beaming capabilities, then that is the best way to go to. And then on the other hand, if you want to be like a really aggressive person, right, and push everything and go all in, then I'd suggest to increase your sensitivity here a little bit. Maybe drop this down to like 9, maybe a little bit more like 12, but definitely a little bit higher sensitivity will be better for you, because if you're going a lot into those aggressive pushes, you're going to need to turn a lot more. And then sometimes having the best accuracy isn't all that the best when you're being a really aggressive. Maybe aiming on your target first might be a little bit more important for you. But again, this just all depends. You can play around with it, but remember, you must identify your playstyle first before you go into those settings. Next up, something really important that I got that actually the ideology comes from the control freaks, and that is don't move your analog stick all the way to the right or all the way to the left. Like don't move it like crazy when you see an enemy. And the reason is because you're actually getting more control movements when you move it slower from side to side instead of like banging your analog stick from left to right. And I'm saying the control freaks taught me this because when I use the control freaks, I mean, before I use them, that's how I used to do it, right? My analog stick will all the way left or all the way right, you know, depending on where I was aiming. But when I tried with the control freaks, it just like felt incredibly fast. Like I was like, oh my God, I cannot move this at all. So the control freaks kind of teach you to don't act like crazy. Like don't be like if you're a dude on crack, just like moving your analog stick all over the place. Move it a little bit more passively, a little bit slower. And again, this will definitely help you out in the long run. Again, it's obviously a lot easier when you have the control freaks. But yeah, this will allow you to raise your sensitivity. And again, do slower movements. Now, talking about control freaks, we're actually going to be talking about different types of thumbsticks because they're designed for different things. Let's say, you know, you got like the concave ones, the ones that are a little bit submerged, and the dome ones. So what are the differences between all these and the high and low? What do they actually mean? And because yeah, they actually are for different things. So just don't buy any of them just because you want to buy a control freak. So first we got the concave thumbsticks, and these are like these that kind of have a little hole in the middle, right? They don't have the bump on the top like this one, and they got a little hole in the middle. And these ones are made for better movement control. Again, not accuracy, just you have better overall movement of your character. Next up, we got the domed thumbsticks, kind of like this one, where the other one had a little thing in the middle, kind of like a little circle. This one is over the top, and just like these ones as well. Now, these ones will actually help you for better accuracy. So again, the other ones, if it has a circle in the middle, a hole in the middle, is for movement. If they don't have any holes in the middle, then that is for accuracy. So again, if you want to improve your accuracy, get these ones. And now if we're talking about low or tall thumbsticks, what is the difference? So actually, short thumbsticks are designed for quicker movement speed. So again, this is if you want to be faster, again, pertaining for the movement. So that's why you'd usually have the lower thumbstick on your movement player, right? Because you want to do quicker movements with that. And then the taller one, that one, so you have more angle to play with. That means you have better aim at the end of the day. So the taller thumbstick, you always want to have it on your aiming one, and the shorter one, you always want to have it on your movement one. And now that we've talked a little bit about thumbsticks and all that, let's go into, well, one of the most important things. I see people, you know, trying to improve their aim, trying to beam people, and trying to have amazing accuracy. But I see them using a high recoil weapons, right? Like the AK-47, or they like using the SCAR. You know, they're just people that like to use different kind of guns. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, To practice and to be the best for your accuracy, number one, you should try to use a gun that is low recoil, because obviously it's a lot easier to practice on your accuracy and beaming people, well, when you don't have to do anything for the gun. Let's say with the Krig or with the M13 or maybe LMGs like the Stoner, RPD, PKM, all those are good weapons that you can use because, well, again, you don't have to think about other things. Imagine if you're not that good at accuracy and then you're using an AK-47 or you're using another gun where you have to compensate for the recoil. It's going to be a lot harder for you. So again, it's kind of like your training wheels, right? Again, practice with a low recoil weapon first. Once you feel like really good at aiming, you're like, damn, I can beam everybody. Then jump into your preferred weapon of choice, you know, again, if they're higher recoil. But again, just remember, practice on a weapon without low recoil. It's going to be definitely a lot easier for you to use. And then at the end of the day, something that also helps me out a lot is I see just people walking around looking down at the floor. For some reason, there's just a lot of people that I see do this, or they're aiming at kind of like their stomach area, lower legs area. When you're playing in the game, always pre-aim and always have your aim towards head height, right? Why? Because if you're aiming at their feet, if you're aiming at stomach area, and then your brain thinks once they see the enemy, okay, now I'm gonna go towards the head, you're gonna have to adjust that to the head. It's gonna be a lot harder than if when the enemy pops up in your screen, he's already head level, and all you have to do is a little micro adjustment to get him out of the way. So again, very, very, very important. Always pre-aim, or whenever you're aiming at anybody, always try to aim head level. Because remember, this is also applies to every single sport. Aim small, miss small. The bigger you give yourself of a target, the more likely you're gonna miss. But the more you focus on a small target in somebody's body, the less you're gonna miss. So again, just take that with you. Aim small, miss small, ladies and gentlemen. And with that all being said, hopefully you guys can improve your aim a little bit more, and let's get some more W's in Warzone. Peace out, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next one.